Imagine being rich enough to buy almost anything, but still not allowed to buy the Hermès bag you want. A customer can walk into a boutique ready to spend more than the price of a used Tesla and still leave without a Birkin. No sale. No discount. No desperate brand begging for money. Just a calm smile and one quiet message, "Not today." And somehow, that rejection makes the bag even more desirable. So before we break down how Hermès turns waiting into status, tell me where you're watching from and stay with me, because this story is not really about handbags. It is about power. This is not a fake story. Hermès is a real luxury giant with real craftsmanship, real demand, and real financial strength. But the secret is not only leather. It is access. Hermès has mastered what we can safely call controlled scarcity, a system where limited supply, careful retail control, customer relationships, and status psychology all work together. Critics may call it fake scarcity, but the professional truth is sharper. Hermès makes people want the product more by making it harder to get. Here is the controversy. If rich people are begging for Birkin and Kelly bags, why does Hermès not simply make more? Most brands would. If a product sells out, they increase production, flood the market, run more ads, and celebrate like they just discovered money has numbers on it. Hermès does the opposite. It grows carefully. It protects the myth. It keeps the door narrow. And that is why this story is not just about handbags. It is about power. Because wealthy customers are used to getting access. They can book the private room, fly first class, buy the rare watch, reserve the ocean view villa, and get treated like the Wi-Fi password to life has already been handed to them. So what still excites them? The thing they cannot immediately buy. And once Hermès understood that desire gets stronger when access gets harder, the handbag stopped being just a product. It became a test of status. Hermès started in Paris in 1837 as a harness workshop founded by Thierry Hermès, long before the Birkin became one of the most famous luxury objects in the world. That origin matters because Hermès did not begin as a hype machine. It began as a craft house serving elite clients who cared about quality, detail, and quiet status. Over time, horse gear became scarves, bags, ready-to-wear, watches, jewelry, and home goods. But the deeper strategy stayed the same: make excellent objects, control the process, and never act desperate for the customer's money. That last part is important. Hermès does not sell like a normal brand. It does not beg. It does not scream. It does not need a giant 70% off banner like a mall store having an emotional breakdown. Instead, Hermès lets the customer chase. Online, luxury buyers often talk about the Hermès game. That usually means building purchase history, forming a relationship with a sales associate, buying other Hermès items, and hoping to be offered a quota bag like a Birkin or Kelly. Hermès has faced legal claims around this, but the harshest claims remain disputed. Reuters reported that a U.S. judge dismissed a Birkin-related class action in 2025, and plaintiffs later asked a U.S. appeals court in 2026 to revive the case. So the controversy is real. But legally, it is not as simple as saying, Hermès is doing something illegal. The safer and more accurate point is that Hermès uses a highly controlled access model. And that model creates tension. But here is the twist. Even the frustration can help Hermès, because every complaint reminds the world that the bag is hard to get. Hermès is not just popular. It is financially powerful. In 2025, Hermès reported revenue of about 16 billion euros, with recurring operating income of 6.6 billion euros, equal to around 41% of sales. That is not just a luxury brand doing well. That is a financial fortress wearing a silk scarf and judging your shoes. The strength continued into 2026. In the first quarter of 2026, Hermès reported 4.1 billion euros in revenue, up 6% at constant exchange rates. The Americas grew strongly, with official reporting showing 17% growth at constant exchange rates. So while normal people are checking grocery prices like they are solving a murder mystery, Hermès customers are still chasing bags that can cost more than a new car. Because Hermès is not only selling leather, it is selling access. Think about limited Jordans in the United States. If a sneaker sits on the shelf for 2 weeks, it is just a shoe. But if it sells out in 30 seconds, suddenly it becomes a trophy. The same rubber and leather now has a story, "I got them." Hermes does that at a higher level. A Birkin is not only expensive, it is difficult. And difficulty creates meaning. If anyone could walk into a store and buy one instantly, the bag would still be beautiful. But it would lose part of the myth. The weight, the uncertainty, the sales relationship, the resale stories, the mystery, all of it adds emotional value. That is the business genius. Hermes turns shopping into achievement. But the real trick is not just making people wait, it is making the wait feel like proof that the product matters. Here is the hidden truth. Hermes does not influence wealthy customers by forcing them. It influences them by making access feel earned. That is much stronger. If a brand pressures customers too openly, people resist. But if a brand makes customers feel selected, the emotion changes. Now the purchase feels personal. It feels like recognition. It feels like winning a quiet luxury lottery where the ticket may be a scarf, a bracelet, a pair of shoes, or years of store visits. A normal purchase ends at checkout. A Hermes journey begins before the purchase and continues after it. That is why the language matters. "I bought this" sounds simple. "I was offered this" sounds powerful. That one change turns the bag into a badge. The resale market adds fuel to the story. Sotheby's says each Birkin is handmade by a single artisan over roughly 18 to 24 hours, using 36 pieces of leather and 680 stitches. Sotheby's also reported nearly $100 million in Birkin sales since 2021, showing strong collector demand outside the boutique. That does not mean every Hermes bag is a guaranteed investment. It is not. Condition matters. Timing matters. Fees matter. Trends can change. A handbag is not a magical retirement plan with handles. But perception is powerful. When customers believe a product can hold value, they do not see spending as waste. They see it as entry. Entry into a rare club. And rare clubs work because not everyone gets inside. So the more people believe the club is hard to enter, the more they want the key. So does Hermes use fake scarcity? The best answer is this. Hermes uses controlled scarcity. Some of the scarcity is real. Handmade luxury goods take time. Skilled artisans cannot be trained overnight. Hermes cannot just press a button and produce perfect Birkins like frozen waffles. But some of the scarcity is strategic too. Hermes understands that giving every customer instant access could weaken the dream. More bags might create more short-term sales, but it could also reduce mystery, weaken resale excitement, and make the brand feel less exclusive. Luxury is not only about price. It is about distance. If a product becomes too available, it starts becoming ordinary. And ordinary is where luxury margins go to die. That is why Hermes protects the distance. It controls the door. It lets customers feel that access is earned slowly, not bought instantly. And this is where many brands fail. They think demand means they should sell as much as possible. Hermes understands that sometimes the most profitable move is not selling to everyone. Sometimes, the smartest sale is the one you delay. Hermes turned waiting into marketing. It turned rejection into desire. It turned a handbag into a status story. The customer is not only buying leather, they are buying proof that they were chosen. And in a world where rich people can buy almost anything, Hermes sells the one thing money cannot always get instantly. Next time someone celebrates a Birkin like they won the Super Bowl, remember this. Hermes did not just sell leather, stitches, or a handbag. It sold the chase. And in luxury, the chase is the product. Like and subscribe for the next business story behind desire, status, profit, and power.